What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Ryan Hafey with Hafey Digital here, and this is the Canon PowerShot ELPH 180. Why do I have this little point and shoot camera? Great question. Let me give you a little context. A YouTuber named Potato Jet made a video where he challenged himself to capture the best possible cinematic footage with a camera under $100. At the end of the video, he announced a giveaway for the camera.
Oh, and as I mentioned, we're doing a giveaway with this thing.
Viewers were asked to leave a comment explaining what they would film with the camera if they won it. I commented, I won. Back to regularly scheduled programming. So here's the camera, signed by Potato Jet and everything. Look. So in the spirit of cinematography, I'm going to film and edit my own cinematic B-roll sequence with this tiny little $100 point and shoot camera. And then once I'm done, I'm gonna pass it along to another lucky content creator. That's right, from this day forward, this shall be known as the traveling camera of content creators. Or just traveling camera for short, let's go with that. So be sure to stick around at the end of the video to find out how you can be the next lucky creator to continue this camera's legacy. But for now, I need to prepare this bad boy for some cinematic B-roll sequences. Let's do it. Okay, so before we get into our B-roll sequence, let's do a proper unboxing and talk a little bit about the specs of this magnificent little camera. So first of all, in the box obviously came the camera. In the camera already is the battery here. And Potato Jet was nice enough to leave a memory card behind for us, a little 8 gig card, perfect. Next up in the box, we've got obviously the battery charger there, some bubble wrap for padding, we've got some instructions and things like that, won't be needing those. And finally we've got this little lanyard slash wrist strap thing, won't be needing this either. So some of the specs of this camera include 720p max resolution, no in-body stabilization, so we're gonna need to find a way to stabilize these shots. No manual exposure control, that could be an issue. Ooh, but it does come with a fisheye effect, that could be cool, we could do something with that. Now Potato Jet in his video, he went as far as trying to create a stabilizer for this camera out of like a pot, like pottery, like a plant pot. We're not gonna do all that. This thing is limiting enough, so we're gonna bring in the big guns as far as accessories to make sure that we get the shots that we want. So you know what that means. It's time to pull out the crane too. I've never tried to balance a camera that weighs as much as my thumb on a Zhiyun crane before, so I don't know how this is gonna work. I can't move this axis over anymore to act as a counterbalance here. So got a little bit of a weight problem. We need a little bit of a counterweight here. So let's see what we can do to fix that. All right, so what I'm gonna try to do is use this quick release plate, attach it to the bottom of this, attach the camera to the top of this, and then put this on top of this, and then mount this on here, and I'm hoping that the quick release plate will add enough weight to make it easier to balance. Okay, so this is what we're working with now. A little bit heavier, probably at least like 2 to 3 times as heavy. Let's throw it on here and see if we can get this to work here. Okay, so my solution didn't really work out as planned. It's not much better than before, but what I'm thinking is that the load here is really not that heavy, so it probably won't put a ton of impact on these motors. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the crane and see how it handles the camera given its current weight, even though it's a little off balance here, to see if it'll kind of balance itself out. Let's find out. Uh-oh, it's giving me the shakes. Oh, well that's not good. Oh boy. All right, plan C, I guess. Okay, so I think I figured out a setup that's going to work. I have everything set up now. I'm actually in my bathroom right now, and the reason I'm in my bathroom is because the stabilizer setup for the Canon ELPH 180 includes my typical vlogging camera, so let me show you what I've done here. That's right. So I've put my Sony a6500 on the Zhiyun crane, and I've used a little small rig adapter and kind of a hot shoe adapter thing here so that I can mount the Canon camera. The crane handles both of them quite well. Just switching between the two shots here, you can already see that the white balance on the Canon ELPH is a nightmare, and that's gonna be interesting in post. But anyway, this is the setup. This is what I'm going to use to film my awesome cinematic B-roll sequence. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Three, 2, 1, go!
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Don't worry, I got this.
You hit me on the head.
That hit me on the neck.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. That was my epic cinematic B-roll sequence shot exclusively on this $100 point-and-shoot camera. I guess technically it was more of a short film than anything, but whatever, it was a lot more fun to film that way. The gimbal stabilizer setup that I use actually worked pretty well, exceptionally well in fact. As you recall, I had it attached to my A6500, which I put onto my Zhiyun Crane 2. But when I think back about it now, actually I probably could have gone without the gimbal at all. I probably could have shot the entire thing handheld, mostly because like when you see action scenes in movies and things like that, a lot of the footage is just kind of very shaky and handheld looking, kind of just fits the scene a little bit more, but I guess I just wanted an excuse to get out the stabilizer. Now as for the picture itself, well, you saw the video. I mean, it looked like crap. Image quality definitely wasn't that great, and all the shots had this kind of yellowish, greenish tint to it, and that's really just a result of crappy auto white balance. But I was actually able to use that to my advantage. I actually felt like the yellowish green tint kind of added to the grunginess, which sort of fit the action scene scenario. So honestly, I didn't really do a whole lot in post as far as color correction and color grading goes. I put a little bit of blue in the shadows, tweaked the highlights just a little bit, gave it a little bit of a faded film look, but other than that, I really didn't do a whole lot of color correction on that footage. Now don't get me wrong, it still looked like crap and the image wasn't sharp at all, and that's because this thing has a max resolution of 720p, but given the circumstances, I would say that the video turned out pretty good. And I'm definitely marking it down as one of the more fun videos I've had the pleasure of creating so far. I should also mention that all the dialogue that you heard in the video all came from this camera, obviously excluding the music and some of the sound effects I added in, but all the audio was from the camera. Now the audio itself sounded like crap as well, but it picked up a lot of sound which actually made it easier to work with in post. But really the main reason why I used the audio from the camera is because at some point during the filming, this thing took a crap on me. That's right, my Rode VideoMic Pro is dead. Let's have a moment of silence for this microphone that has been so good to me for the last few years. Anyway, moving on. So with that out of the way, it is time to get to the giveaway. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be giving this camera to another lucky content creator. That said, there are a couple stipulations. In order to continue this camera's legacy, you must do a couple things if you become the winner. Number one, you must shoot, edit, and share your own cinematic B-roll sequence or short film. Number two, you must also sign the camera, which I will do right now. There you go. Signed and ready to go to the next lucky creator. So how do you win the camera? All you need to do is leave a comment down below and tell me what you would shoot with this camera if you were the winner. Once I get enough entries, I will go through and pick what I believe to be the most creative response, and you will be declared the new winner of the hashtag traveling camera. And with that, I'll go ahead and end this video here. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your responses in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.